watching all the exits. They're checking everyone that leaves. There's no way to get out of here.
Now, we did this career retrospective a year or two ago, and there was a segment that really took off on social media where you talked about your relationship with marketing over the years, and selling the movie that you made, not what the studio thinks will draw people. And you use this analogy, this great analogy of sweet versus savory. I think with Trap, people were surprised, for instance, that there's a reveal that Josh Hartnett is the butcher in the trailer. Like, is that what you were meant? Like, do you think years back the marketing would have looked different on this one?
No, I mean, that's the movie. So, it's you. I want you to know that the reason to come see the movie is you are the serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the wacky, wonderful part of the movie is it's a serial killer movie, but you're Hannibal Lecter. What is it like to be him and empathize with him strangely? Someone that doesn't empathize, you're empathizing with him, and how wicked and unusual that is. So for me, it's not much different than, James McAvoy walking through the door and revealing he has, dissociative identity disorder, that he has multiple personalities. It's the premise of the conflict.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah. And I think this makes a lot more sense in that context. There's this filmmaking technique you use, I think more so in the first act and first half, I noticed, where you frame characters in close up, seemingly talking straight to camera. Can you talk about that bit and like what drove that stylistic choice?
Yeah, I mean, I use that particular technique when it's not a natural moment, where there's a hyper quality to the intensity of the situation. And so for most people, that would be very rarely would you be feeling that. Very, very rarely, right? And it's also uncomfortable, that feeling of that person staring directly into the lens, staring right at you. It's very uncomfortable and disconcerting. But Cooper, he's like a surgeon. He can stare at you so intensely. And so there's many moments that he's kind of essentially dissecting you, and he's feeling things in a very intense way. He's concentrating. And like one example is the scene where they tell you the premise of the movie, and the vendor is talking to him and saying, "Hey man, I'll tell you, it's really crazy. They set a trap for this serial killer. You know, the butcher?" And he's like, the guy's talking about him, and he's pretending to have like a boys' conversation about this. And it's super intense in there. So that standing on a tightrope is that feeling of why I do it. Cooper was a great character to be able to do that multiple times.
Mm-hmm. What can you say about the origins of this one? I mean, you are a girl dad. It's about a girl dad taking his daughter to a concert. Obviously, much more going on. But was there like a specific concert experience that you had with your own daughters that were set this idea off?
We kind of live in that world of concerts and movie going. I have Saleka's life, because she's a musician.
Yeah.
We've seen her, play in so many places around the country and around the world, and where she, and my friends, some of them are musicians. So this world of kind of like, what does the load-in look like? Well, how do what is the meet and greet, and then the opening band, and then and what does it feel like when the lights go down and the main performer comes on, and then the cadence of the movie, and the surprise guest in the concert, and all the beats of a concert. So it was inevitable that it's a very rich environment to set a story. But Saleka and I were talking together about it. How do we do a movie together where music is primary to the storytelling of the thing, that the characters are diegetically watching the music, not that it's on top of the movie like score, and that it's significant, like a whole album. I'm an album guy. I'm not like listen to one song and then another song. I'm like, what is the album like, and so this was the initial premise of it.
This feels like a banner year for your family now between Watchers and Trap. I mean, were these collaborations long in the works with both of your daughters, and how proud of a papa are you these days?
For me, it's never about their achievements. So like, let's say they win an award one day. That's not the moment to be proud. I'm happy for them that people will acknowledge them or achievements. That's great. That's not it. For me, it's how the process on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. What are you doing, and how do you conduct your life? Are you thinking about, like in Saleka's case, are you thinking about the architecture of jazz and the freedom of that, and what does that mean in relation to pop music? And I want to hear that thought pattern, and you do that, you concentrate on your craft, and all that other stuff will happen in the appropriate ways. But you can't take your eye off of this. The energy needs to be there. So when you say proud, I'm proud of them because they have a super value system, their work ethic, their process, their commitment to the process of life and trying. That's what I want them to be, because otherwise, you can be very unhappy, because if you're aiming for achievements or the accolades of people, that's a very mercurial thing that you don't want to feel that way, that, hey, part of me that I think is me will cause that to go away. You don't want that feeling. It's irrelevant. Just concentrate, on the craft.
Amen to all that. I love that. As a father myself, thank you for that. Knight, always a joy to talk to you. Again, big congrats on the release, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
All right, brother. You take care.
Take care.